Luminous Avenger X2 is a 2D action platformer where you play as Copen again. I was excited to jump back in since I think he's the coolest character in the Gun Vault universe, but when I finally played it, I felt torn. This game completely, well not really, gutted the dash and bounce gimmick from the previous games, the stuff that actually made you feel cool and made the game fun. Now you're limited to one single dash unless you bounce off walls. You got a 3-hit melee combo with a buzzsaw, which is okay I guess, but gone is the high-flying bullet dashing action that was so fun to play. It feels like a total downgrade. Good news though, you can play as the fun Copen, but you have to reach 1,000 kudos first. Why? I practiced the previous games to prepare for this, only to be handed a bare bones playstyle I'm not used to, just to have the fun version dangled in front of me as a reward. I don't understand what the developers were thinking. The story is much better. There's a canonical reason Copen uses the buzzsaw. He and Kohaku were enjoying their peace when anime isekai stuff happens. Since his gear was left behind, he has to make do with what he has in this new world. Cool reason. As gameplay, they meet a robot named Null and try to figure out what the hell is going on. The levels are actually pretty fun and the boss fights are fair on normal mode, but playing as barebones Copen takes a long time to get used to. Once I did, it was fine, but I still missed the original flow. I shouldn't have to grind kudos just to play the version of the character I actually liked. Here's the thing, it could have worked all by itself with a few adjustments. You start off as barebones Copen, getting familiar with the new gameplay, but then you hit 1,000 kudos and suddenly you're back to playing as the fun Copen. All that work you did trying to familiarize yourself with the new style is thrown away. It's a tonal whiplash. I don't know how else to put it. It's like eating a cake and then it suddenly turns into spaghetti. What a weird shift. You could say a break shift because that's his mode. Yeah, it's dumb joke. It should have been simple. If you tag the enemy, Copen fires homing bullets. If you haven't tagged anyone, he defaults to the buzzsaw, the 3-hit melee combo. The dash and bounce gimmick should have stayed as it is. Why use melee then? Simple. Risk versus reward. Homing bullets give you default score, but melee gives you a massive multiplier because of the unpredictability of getting that close. Both could have worked together, but they didn't. That's why it sucks. Once you finish the game, you think that's it, but then the game says, actually, there's more. In the Hanging Garden stage, there's a secret route to unlock hard mode. Hard mode is a bitch. It's so difficult that devs eventually saw the complaints and patched in 200 lives and infinite healing. It doesn't matter. The boss battles are still asinine. Instead of feeling like a badass, this game forces you into a brutal skill grind. If you want a challenge, go for it. I'm not exactly against it, but it's not exactly carpal tunnel friendly. My hands were poking me with pins and needles because I had to repeat boss battles so many times. I would not have minded a hard mode, but the true ending is locked behind it. What the fuck, bro? The story is already weak in normal mode, but then they hide the best part in hard mode. You find out this world is a version where Lola, now calling herself Mother, has gone insane, and the creator is actually a version of Copen that never came back. Why hide that awesome lore behind such a miserable grind? What's worse, you can't use upgrades in hard mode. Good luck, asshole. If this is how the game is supposed to be experienced, then the experience is total fucking ass. Here's the difference. In normal mode, you face Epsilon, he destroys the teleporter, and Null sacrifices herself to become part of the machine. You beat Mother, save Kohaku, and Null opens a portal to Copen's world so everyone can go home. Then we see an image of a destroyed Null saying thank you. That's fucking depressing. Null stays behind while Copen and the others live in peace. As a lover of fictional characters and stories, this cannot stand. In hard mode, you find a secret route, hear a voice begging you to save Mother, and face Epsilon again, but this time in blue. He destroys the teleporter and Null sacrifices herself, but then Epsilon pulls some anime power out of his ass to revive Null and integrates her into Copen's gear as a data soul, similar to Lola. Lola hints that she doesn't have a read on this Epsilon blue guy, saying it was like they were fighting a ghost. I think this world's Copen never actually left. He just died, maybe naturally due to old age, but the true ending image proves his presence was still there. Anyway, you defeat Mother, save Kohaku, and in the true ending image where we see this version of Lola and Copen finally reunited, it's so sweet I'm about to explode from too much wholesomeness. Lola asks, do machines like us have souls too? My theory is that because Michel from Magic Strike and Gun Vault 2 and Copen's little sister has the most powerful Septima, or Septima means superpower or whatever, and Lola was her companion, Michel somehow gave Lola sentience unaware of her own power to keep their souls intact. over all those years. It explains why Lola has such a fun personality and can even revive Copen, just like what Lumen does for Gunvolt. It also puts to rest the debate over, is it still Copen or just a machine doing Copen's will? I believe this theory strongly because we see that Lumen has a personality of her own due to Joel's power, which was originally Methyl's. Even the audio drama Clockwork Daydream backs this up. Copen was confused about how Lola developed this way, noting she loves to listen to and even write her own songs. He couldn't understand how a basic AI evolved like that, just by being by Methyl's side. While Lumen and Lola have developed their own sentience because of Methyl Septima, who's to say her power is only limited to that? It could be that while Copen replaced his body during the events of Luminous Avenger X, he was still able to retain his soul before he left Methyl in Azure Striker Gunvolt 2. Or maybe after he put Methyl to rest in Luminous Avenger X. Maybe that was Methyl's one last goodbye to Copen, keeping his soul intact. Man, the Gunvolt lore here is so fucking awesome. Anyway, now that the war is over, Copen and Kohaku tell Nell to live with them in their world. Now that is fucking awesome, but again, all that good shit is only available if you beat hard mode, which is a total pain for anyone with carpal tunnel syndrome. And failing reflexes like mine because of old age. One more thing, you want the infinite bullet dash? You have to buy DLC and beat bosses. Are you fucking serious? The pricing is ridiculous, and those upgrades you get from the DLC, you can't even use them in hard mode, so what's the point? So while I do enjoy this game, and the ending sets up Copen to travel to other dimensions, I also fear that Kohaku is going to replace him. One of the DLC bosses is called Kohaku Ochori. Not the same Kohaku in Luminous Avenger X. And in the bad ending, Mother possesses Kohaku's, not Kohaku Ochori's, body. What if Mother and Kohaku come to a compromise and share a body like Gunvolt and Lumen? They've already replaced Gunvolt with Kirin in Azure Striker Gunvolt 3. Who's to say that Luminous Avenger X3 isn't just a setup to pass the torch to Kohaku? Why should I be excited about a game where the character I actually want to play as isn't even the protagonist? Don't get me wrong, I think Gunvolt 3 is really fun, but why call it Azure Striker Gunvolt 3? Why not Gunvolt Chronicles Battle Priestess Kirin? If the devs want Kohaku as the main character, you don't have to kill off Copen. Call it Gunvolt Chronicles White Tiger Kohaku or some shit. There are so many directions this could go, and I have no idea where we're headed now. And it's probably what the devs are thinking too.